a grandmother.
Women in leadership, business, and lifestyle.
I know I do. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Lifi'n Talk today. And I'm so excited to be here with my special guest, Dr. Rose White. And she is a master life coach. And we have been doing a lot of collaboration on some things and some talks. And you'll definitely see her because she's going to be frequent guest, right, Rose? So Rose, you know, for those that are viewing, talk a little bit about yourself and your background, and because you're a powerhouse in your own right.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Liz. You are always such an encouragement, and that I definitely appreciate. You know, for me, I am a life coach, you know, a consultant in business, also a ministry leader. And so having to do different little things, which of course I enjoy it all. And so at this particular time, you know, even stepping out of the boat to launch, you know, a YouTube channel to be able to do some new things. But just looking so forward, to 2026, you know, 2025 has been one of those years where we've been doing lots of things because, in addition to the coaching, I am a licensed, life, health, and annuities insurance agent. Yes. So, you know, I've got many different hats and just being able to find a balance in between all of those. But I enjoy it because it's about people, and I love people. That is the joy of my life, of being able to find a way of how to make an impact in somebody else's life, being able to encourage people where they are, and just sort of helping people to find their purpose in life.
Yeah, so today I think that I'd love to talk to you a little bit about healing the inner critic. What does that mean? And also, in some regards, a lot of people find themselves with being an imposter syndrome. So, and what that means is really trying to prove to the outside world, maybe your friends or in social media, trying to be something that, you know, your authentic self isn't really. So here we want to talk about in this time, what does that really mean? And it all comes down to really self-doubt.
Yeah.
And who on this planet, whether it's a man or a woman, hasn't dealt with self-doubt in certain seasons of their life? I mean, I'd be the first one to raise my hand, you know, and self-doubt can come in so many different categories. It could be fear, not believing in yourself. You know, maybe you want to do something different and you don't have the courage to try. Yeah. Or also maybe, you know, you think everybody around you is doing something and you're missing out, because you just don't fit in maybe. And, you know, we're here to talk about, this topic and hopefully, give you some takeaways for you to think about. Yeah. And cause at the end of the day, it's really about being authentic. Yeah. What's inside you. And maybe you haven't really thought about that, or really haven't taken the time to discover that. Yeah. So we want to be encouraging you today to do that, because at the end of the day, you know, people in your life kind of come and go, but you live with yourself. Yeah. And so you have to be internally happy. And when you find yourself and you find your authentic self, then you know what? There is such a confidence that comes over you that, you know, you can transform into another person. And so, Rose, I want to kind of open it up. And as a master life coach, I know that you have had this conversation with so many clients over the years, and it really can morph into so many other things from this subject. So what would you say to that, and maybe some cause and effect from this subject?
You know, Liz, this is such a personal subject. And it gets really to heart. And so, you know, there's really not enough time in the day to even go in depth, but to just quickly say that when it comes to the inner critic, we as a people, women in general, we can sometimes be our worst critic.
Yes.
We can be our worst enemy because we're always trying to measure up to something else or to someone else. And you mentioned a word that I've been using quite a bit here recently, and it's dealing with authenticity. We sometimes, you know, we live behind masks. And so because we look at someone else and we're saying they seem to do it so much better, rather than us being our own authentic self, to recognize that we weren't called to do it like someone else. You know, we can have two teachers. Both are great teachers, but their methods of teaching are different. And just because one doesn't do it the same way that another does, doesn't mean that one is less than. And so that inner critic is that little voice. You know, we hear sometimes the term, the little voice that speaks on the inside. And we have a tendency of hearing the little voice that is not always giving us words of positivity.
Correct.
But is giving us words of negativity, telling us what you can't do, what you don't have enough of, what you don't have the ability to. And so we have to shut that voice down and believe in that higher power, you know, believing in the God that's on the inside of us, that no, I may not be as someone else because I'm not that someone else. No two people have the same fingerprint. You know, and so when we can learn how to walk in who we have been created to be, then we'll have less of a feeling that I'm not good enough. I'm inadequate. For anyone that's listening today, I want to encourage you. You have been created so unique. So unique.
Yes.
There are gifts and talents that's on the inside you may not even be aware of, but doesn't change the fact that they are there. And so when you begin to see you for who you really are, not based on what somebody else might have said, you know, because sometimes we grow up from things that we've heard from our youth, and it has gone over into our older years of life. And so we begin to criticize, we begin to condemn, we begin to see ourselves less than because of words, whether it was through within our home or in the school or within the workplace, you know, from our youth. It doesn't matter.
So true.
But I want you to begin to be encouraged. Do not listen to the lie of the little voice that says anything opposite than that which is good, that which is true, that which is lovely, that which is of a good report. The good report is you are great. There is greatness on the inside of you. There is nothing that you cannot do. because the Bible even says all things are possible to them who believe. You got to believe in yourself. Shut down the negative voice and listen to the positive voice.
So well said. So well said, Dr. Rose. And I think that sometimes too, clients come to me and because they feel the self-doubt, you know what? They lose their voice.
Yeah.
They don't feel like they have an opinion, in a say or saying what's on their mind because they are, their own worst critic, or maybe those loved ones around you that love you, don't necessarily support, who you want to be.
Yeah.
Don't build you up. Maybe they think that you can't. Well, you know what? I'm here to tell you that you can do anything that you set your mind to.
Yes.
Don't listen to the naysayers, as you said, Dr. Rose, because you have so much potential in you, because we are individuals who are masterpieces that were made. And you just have to know that, you know what? If you've had a season where you feel that you haven't been your authentic self, I'm telling you now, it's time to change.
Yes.
And there's no time like right now.
Yeah.
And so what the difference is between staying stagnant and taking action, it's you. It really comes from doing the work and starting where you're at. I'm not going to promise that, you're going to get a solution tomorrow, but it's taking charge and deciding that, you know what, I do have a voice and I want to be an independent, powerful woman or man. It could be, because you're not defined by your past decisions or indecisions, because you know what, let's face it, we all have had times where we have felt less than.
Yeah.
And so what my desire for you in this talk, this segment, is to offer you encouragement and also just pose a challenge to you. Take the first step, one step at a time. Yeah. And so you may say, Liz, you know what? How do I do it? Rose, Dr. Rose, how do I do it? And what I will say to you is the first step is the mind, is the wanting to. That's the first step. So what does that look like after I decide I want to? Well, it starts with taking inventory, writing it down. Yeah. What are those areas that you feel that you don't have, you're insecure about? Yeah. It could be a characteristic. It could be people in your life that you just don't feel that you can stand up to them. So all of those things, and for the interest of time, we don't have enough time because we could really go a lot deeper.
Oh, yes.
But that's what I would say is the first thing for you to start journaling and taking inventory. And then from there, you know what? There's so much of the inner work that you can start just by acknowledging that you've written it down. And Dr. Rose, what would you say to those that are watching that, you start from here, today, now, the present. And you know what? Whatever is in the past that's held you back, that is not healed, you need to confront it. Yeah. You need to talk to it and let it go. Yeah. Because the past is what we learn from, but it's the future that we're going to thrive from. So I would ask you to close us out, Dr. Rose, with some thought on that.
I think that as you began to speak, I began to think about a releasing. And, you said about writing, journaling. I believe in journaling.
Yes.
There's so much that comes out when you begin to write out your feelings. Some things that you might not even thought about, you begin to write it out. But when you begin to take that inventory, then you could begin to really look at things that you didn't really think about. And so the moment you see the things that are not good for you, now you can begin to address it and then release it. And the moment you release certain things that were not good for you, then healing begins to really take place. Because healing can't take place until you release that has been a problem, it's like forgiveness. You can't get fully healed until you learn how to walk in forgiveness. And there are things that we in ourselves, we've got to learn how to forgive ourselves. And that's a big part. I've criticized myself because I was overweight. I criticized myself because I didn't really pass that test and I didn't really do good. The moment we change how we address that issue, yes, I'm overweight and I'm going to work on that and I'm going to do better at that. I'm going to learn to live healthy and to eat healthy. I forgive myself for all the times that I did not do the right thing to take care of this body because I only have one body. And the moment you do that, rather than taking the negativity that I'm overweight, I eat too much, you feel bad about yourself. But the moment you say, you know what, I'm going to do better, now healing takes place. Now we begin to feel better about ourselves. Yes. And so I want to be able to encourage each of you to take inventory. But one last thing that I will say, when you said about people, if there are people that is in your life that is contributing to the criticism of yourself, then perhaps it's time to change your circle. Change the people that is around you. Because that's a choice. Who you allow in your circle is a choice. And anything or anyone that's not helping to build you up, perhaps do not need to be in your circle. And so I would say it is vital that we learn to be around others that not only can celebrate us, but that can help to build us, strengthen us, help to catapult us into our purpose, into our destiny. That helps to get rid of all of that negativity that brings about us hurting ourselves by critiquing ourselves in a negative way. Critique is good. Because critique can help you to move into a better place. We need that.
Yes.
But we need positive criticism. We need people that's going to critique us, that they have our best interest at heart. But when there are negative words that are coming that is to harm and not to help, now that's a different story. And so understanding the difference between the two and then walk in that healing, know that you have been created for greatness. You have been created for better. God has ordained you for a time such as this to do great things. So let it be. Walk in who you've been created to be. And if you want to know and want to have someone that can give positive feedback, contact Liz.
Or Dr. Rose. Contact Dr. Rose. Well, just a final thought. If we look at our inner person, we're connected, we're mind and we're body and we're spirit. And really, if you think about it, our mind is a sponge. So what is going in your mind? So I would encourage you, think about what you're thinking. And if it's negative, rule it out by bringing in something positive. Listen to motivational things that motivate you. Meditation and affirmations to know that, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that you are enough, and that you are uniquely made, and you are special just the way that you are. And so thank you, Dr. Rose, for coming. And her information, please, she also has a YouTube channel. You want to say that real quick?
Elevate Pathways Coaching.
Yes. And you also have another one.
Morning Manna with Dr. Rose.
Yes. So please feel free to look her up. And if you like this content, please feel free to, if you have any comments, comment. We love to hear your feedback. And also, you know what? If you've liked this, this new talk series that we're having, subscribe. And not only that, share with others, because I believe that it will encourage and empower others. And so that's what we're here for. And it's here to come back to anytime. So again, until next time, have a great day, and I will see you soon.